Welcome to this programme, which is originally entitled Little Mist Muffat. Not a very good wordplay, but it's the best I could come up with. Georg Muffat. He was born in a small town in France, sort of close to Geneva, so down that way, sort of below Switzerland. So he was probably brought up speaking some kind of French, maybe German, maybe Italian, so he's very close to the Alps and that whole region. He is unquestionably one of the great composers of the 17th century. So he was born in France, and we know that he went to Paris around the early 1660s, 1661, 2, 3. There's a slightly dubious quotation, or a quotation which can be read in lots of ways, where he says that he was sort of studied with Lully, or was absorbing the music of Lully at that time in Paris. We don't know that he actually studied with Lully, but he certainly was soaking up the atmosphere of Paris in the 1660s and listening to the music that Lully was producing. So obviously Lully was a huge influence on the young Georg Muffat. But he also went to Vienna and Salzburg and to Italy, importantly, to study with the great keyboard player Pasquini, and where he also met Armonico Corelli. And these influences, they all sort of merged, and he produced the most incredible literature of concerti grossi and concerto type music. And you'll hear today 3 concerti, Armonico Tributo, they're entitled, which was published in Salzburg in 1682. A collection of 5 works in interesting keys. There's a sort of key structure. There's this alternating major, minor, major, minor, major. So we have D, G, A, E, G. So it does this, which is rather a nice tune. But alternating major and minor. So the collection starts in D and ends in G. So it's a sort of perfect cadence. So this Armonico Tributo is also there in the structure of the set as a whole. But this music is designed to be played lots of ways, ideally with a Corellian kind of orchestra. So you have a concertino, solo group of 2 violins and cello, backed up and amplified by a concerto grosso, the big string band behind it. And he carefully marks up the parts as to where the big boys come in and the big band comes in. Very, very carefully. What's really special about this music and makes it sort of rich in the way that a wonderful Viennese Sachertorte, something which is incredibly chocolatey and wonderfully delicious. However, it has the French lightness of a soufflé. So it's this amazing music. And what makes it so rich is the fact that we have 2 viola parts. So it's a 5-part string texture. So the 2 violins, 2 violas, and the bass line. The concertino being the 2 violins and the cello. So it's alternating between this trio with the continuo supporting them and a big band of 5-part strings coming in and out. And it really is the most exquisite and wonderful and deep, fabulous music. And if you don't know it, it's really, I'm glad to be presenting this to you. We're very glad to be presenting it to you. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there in person to enjoy playing along. But you'll hear the string band playing the 3rd, 4th and 5th of these Armonico Tributo concerti, the A major, the E minor and the G major. They all have their own amazing character. But the G major, which finishes the set, ends with this most incredible chaconne Passacaglia in G major, which is a huge piece. The form itself, Passacaglia chaconne, lends itself to expansion, and you can, because it's a repetitious form, Passacaglias and chaconnes can go on as long as you want. But it is the most extraordinary creation, and I hope you enjoy this delicious Austrian soufflé of chocolate. It is the most wonderful meal to ingest and enjoy. As a little amuse-gueule, or something to cleanse your palate, we also have one of the most famous pieces of Baroque music ever written. Johann Parkhelgel, he was an organist from the south of Germany, so he was actually operating in sort of the same territory as Muffat. South Germany, he knew the music of Froberger and Kerl, and that was very influential upon him. He was born in the same year, actually, funnily enough, as Muffat, 1653. And we know Pachelbel, of course, from his famous Canon, which I don't know about in America, but it was a very famous piece of music used for in advertising heating, central heating in England, the gas companies. But of course it was being played in a very, very inauthentic manner, if you like. Really, really slowly, with with multiple string players, in a very luscious and not exactly appropriate manner. You'll be hearing the Canon and its following Gigue, which is a fabulously fun piece, played as originally conceived by 3 violins and continuo, cello and harpsichord and theorbo, at a more perky tempo, shall we say, than certainly I first heard it in these gas heating commercials in the 60s and 70s in England. So enjoy this rich, delicious menu of Muffat concerti, the 3 of them, with a little cleansing radish sort of flavour of the Pachelbel, Canon and Gigue for your delight and delectation. So please enjoy.